Hi, today we're going to talk to a napropath, and if you don't know what that is or confuse it, there might be confusion between a naturopath and an osteopath and a napropath, so we're going to explain that to you. And I have to say that he did a fabulous treatment on me last night, and I have some immobility due to problems with my knee joints, and he has really done a fabulous job on that, so I want you to know about him too. And then I've also asked someone else to come and help me ask him questions. So first of all, I want to introduce you to Dr. Lauren Allison. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And you are a napropath.
Napropath.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you explain in a minute what that is. And Maria Panessa, who has been on the show many times, and she's going to be our consumer advocate today to help ask him questions. So tell us exactly what a napropath does so there's no confusion.
Yeah, a napropath is a manual medicine-based practitioner. So it's similar to chiropractic, but the main focus is connective tissue manipulation. We focus on trying to straighten out ligament imbalances, for trying to keep the explanation simple, but so that bones are able to sort of gently move into the place where they belong. It actually came out of chiropractic about 10 years after chiropractic started. But the emphasis is primarily on the connective tissue because the bones don't move themselves. So the bones, when they get out of alignment, are pulled. And so your objective as a napropath is to correct the connective tissue that is pulling the bone so that the bone will more readily move into place.
Mm-hmm. So what diagnosis do people usually come to you with? Is it because they can't walk or they have pain or?
Well, it could be all of the above. It could be neurological, it could be muscle pain, it could be mobility issues, a range of motion issues. A joint moves maybe 40–50% of what it should be able to move. Those are typical things that would come into the clinic as symptoms.
So people don't have to get a referral from anybody else to come and see you?
No.
They can come on their own?
Yes.
Right. And you have a website?
Masterthebody.com. All one word, no dashes or anything.
And you're located, what town is, I'm trying to think exact, because there's a change in town there. Is that Crest Hill?
Joliet.
Joliet.
Yeah,
okay.
Technically, yeah, it's right on the border of Crest Hill, but it falls in Joliet.
It's easy to find on Caton Farm Road.
Yeah.
What made you go into this?
I have a fascination with the potential of the human body. And from a manual standpoint, I actually started as a massage therapist doing strict clinical work, so regional manipulation of certain joints, shoulder girdle, knee, back, and natural evolution was to go into a more evolved form of treatment, and that was napropathic at the time. So I chose that over chiropractic, osteopathy because of the method. It's a very, very smart method.
Dr. Allison,
yeah.
when you say the potential of the body, of the human body, do you mean the power that the body has to heal itself?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. The human potential movement is kind of catching on. I think that whole idea of what's possible, yes. What's manifested in the last few years, particularly.
Yes.
And I feel that. Yes, we have all our technology, which is helping us immensely, but we also have potential that we are relying on technology for, but yet we may not need the technology for it. So I think we need to deep dive a little more. That's a little more beyond the napropathic application, but that's my passion.
That's wonderful, because I believe that that's really where we are evolving to, is discovering our own potential.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, and I love technology. I love technology.
Oh, me too. I mean, and it helps, but
yeah,
the real power is within us.
Right.
And
no, absolutely.
And as she knows, I'm a walking example, because I was at death's door so many times, in the last year and a half. And I fought it every inch of the way. And even when doctors were telling me that they really weren't sure if I was going to make it back home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I will.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
Well,
I
the difference
refused-
between the way doctors used to be,
Yeah.
and I've been a nurse for a long time, is that they would give you hope and that they would do the worrying for you and they would do the treatments like you're talking
They
about,
don't- they don't do that
hands-on
anymore.
things.
No.
And a lot of them don't do that, but you do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. There's a lot of practitioners that tend to, I almost don't want to be on record saying that, but a lot of people. In healthcare is a business. It is.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with that because
Right.
you have to pay for your telephone
Right.
in your office. You can't
Right.
be in business to help people
Yeah.
unless there's money involved.
But from my standpoint, if you spend a little more time, and that's why I liked naturopathy, because yes, the treatments are a little more involved, but they hold much better in terms of getting bones to stay in alignment or getting tissue to hold its a natural balance. But you have to put the time in on the front end, and so many times people they don't have to keep coming in, or you don't have to see them 2-3 times a week, or I mean, sometimes, occasionally, but most of the time you wouldn't have to continue to see them like that, because the method that you're applying allows them to gain that function back and hold it. And sometimes that comes along with, do these exercises and so forth because you've gotten out of balance for one reason or another. And the exercise will help bring you back into balance so you don't have to come and see me.
Well, and that's a good thing. Although I'd like to be there 3 times a week because it felt good, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
Well, and it makes a big difference to you. And sometimes, as I told you too, I had a friend that's a chiropractor, and she also was a massage therapist first. So I hurt my back one time downtown at my office. It was late at night, and I knew if I went to an orthopedic guy, he was going to tell me I needed surgery or pain pills, and I didn't want either.
Right.
So I went to her, and she did massage and manipulation more than just chiropractic, and the back pain was gone.
Yeah.
And I think if more people would do that and utilize alternative care, and the MDs are busy enough, they don't have to worry about me taking business from them by telling them that they're very busy. But I think, a lot of these natural therapies that might have been frowned upon before are now, they're in the mainstream media all the time, and all the famous doctor shows and everything now. They're finally realizing and bringing this in that they need this. And sometimes, like the doctors, they're at their wits' end. They don't know what else to give you except a pain pill, or they've done the surgery, and you have to come in even afterwards to take care of things. It's nice to do it before so you don't have that, but afterwards it's good too.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, every practitioner fills some need, and nobody can do it all, and so my area is a little more specialized, and in addition to doing the nutritional stuff, the manual medicine, of course, the nutritional stuff or nutritional therapies can provide a foundation where the person doesn't necessarily end up having a lot of as many physical issues, or as many aches and pains and repetitive use problems if their nutritional status is good. And so you kind of have to work it all around.
So, Dr. Allison, you customize the diet regimen for each patient?
Yeah. Well, in most, truth be told, really, most people that I see that come to me already really have done a lot of sculpting of their diet because they've probably been having a problem for some time. And so I don't have to do as much as maybe someone who knows nothing about changing their diet for the better, although there are tweaks that come, and a lot of people that come in, let's say they have some specific diet like ketogenic or a vegan or a vegetarian, paleo, they may come in, and what they don't realize is that the foods that they've been eating 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week, at times they may actually now have a problem with. And they could be a good food. It could be spinach.
Right.
It could be
That's
kale.
like with
It could
me.
be tomatoes.
Apples. I can't have apples.
Yeah.
You know.
And so then you tweak it. They're still making good choices overall, but you have to tweak it so it fits them, because there's something unique is going on with human physiology at this point, I think, with all of, and you could get into a whole, discussion about what's in the environment and what's in the food and what's not in the food.
Right.
And how, and our lifestyles are so much different now than they were even 20 years ago.
Sure.
So food matters, clearly.
Yes, yeah.
But I think a lot of people are sometimes are stumped like, well, I thought it's supposed to be good for me. Well, typically it is. But for whatever reason, now you have a problem, this particular food, so we have to work around it.
How knowledgeable are you with this keto, which is such a big fad now?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just have
What are you talking
my
about?
reservation, the
protein only?
ketogenic,
High
Yeah.
fat.
Well,
high fat
Well,
protein.
I don't know about that, but the
No,
protein
but that's-
only, I mean, raises your acidity in your body a lot
Right,
and can cause
right.
you
But
kidney
this-
damage
but
and
this is
things
what
like
I'm
that
saying.
too.
And now-
But it is a fast weight loss program.
Yeah, but
But I know, but it can damage your
they're
body.
actually saying that it reverses diseases.
Well, there's some history with that. I believe the origin of the ketogenic diet is actually from Mayo Clinic, early 1900s. I don't remember the exact year, but they've known about it for some time, and it works very, very well in most cases for insulin resistance, diabetes, and they have had quite a bit of success with cancer.
Really?
Yeah. It's
I tried, I tried because
Yeah.
at this point, like I'm trying anything because
Yeah.
I want to try to heal my intestinal
sure.
tract.
Yeah.
So I tried the ketogenic. I stayed
Yeah.
on it for a whole month,
Yeah.
but it almost destroyed me.
Well, I think that the trick with keto, and now we're becoming aware that there are certain receptors for certain people have a genealogy that may be more suited to a ketogenic diet.
Yeah, see, I'm
And so
definitely not.
that gets pretty deep pretty quickly. But so some people will possibly do better on that than others. But I think what's emerging now is that a ketogenic diet is more successful if it's run short, and and
Some
you can
people are
cycle
saying-
in and out of it.
But some people are saying, "Oh, this should be your way of life now." I mean, I just,
Well, they've
they're
said that
just
about
like-
everything.
Right,
but
right,
they-
right.
I don't
No,
know,
I understand
there's-
what you're.
But
I
some
think,
people feel good on certain diets that other people don't feel good on.
right.
Yeah.
And I think they're starting to get the information scientifically now to delineate why some people will do better on more protein or more fat or more vegetables. Now and of course, there's so many voices in that arena right now, and the data keeps bouncing around.
Yeah.
But I think you're safe to say that for the most part, with the caveat being, yes, people have allergies to certain things, and recently lectins have come up as a big deal. I won't get into that whole thing, but from what I've seen overall, lots of, this is nothing new. Lots of vegetables,
Right, I was just gonna
fruit,
say that, yeah,
nuts,
yeah.
seeds, and I don't like to make big recommendations about beans, and because it just depends on the person.
Right.
And the same thing is happening now with vegetables. It kind of depends on the person and some fruits. So, but you're always better because with more
And
roughage.
a plant, with a plant-based diet.
Yeah, and when I say plant-based, I mean mostly plants.
Yeah,
I don't mean
right.
no animal products. Now there's a section of the dietary
macrobiotic,
where they're saying
yeah.
plant-based
No
means nothing but plants.
Right.
But anytime I've heard of using base in a description, it means mostly, not
Yeah,
100%.
mostly.
So I do believe plant-based, but I've certainly found from lab work that a good chunk of the public has to have some type of animal product. I'm not suggesting you can't live without at all.
Right.
Typically, they have to supplement.
Yeah.
And but there's still so much to learn.
Yeah.
About individuals.
What about chocolate? Some people say that certain high chocolate, that has reversed diabetes in some cases.
The bitter chocolate.
Right.
Chocolate.
Yeah. Well, chocolate, has a lot of benefits to it, an enormous amount of antioxidant value. as
I
well.
love chocolate. I'm a
But it
chocoholic.
can't be milk chocolate.
No, no, it has to be the
I like
dark.
dark
Well,
chocolate anyway, but
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty, now it's pretty well documented, you know. But people are gonna, and of course that's plant-based, you know, as long as they don't put dairy in it, but that's a whole other.
Yeah,
But of course
yeah.
now there are plant-based candy bars, so, which they're not an unhealthy option, really.
Yeah, right,
you
right.
know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But like, say for high inflammation, you know,
Yeah.
then I think that's why I'm looking to go to a retreat to where I can
sure.
be put on a
Yeah.
regimen. But I think it's going to be mostly plant-based for
Yeah.
anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, and if there's if there's a way to evaluate if you have, like you mentioned the apple, if you have problems with any other fruits or vegetables,
Yeah.
because some people have really severe reactions
Oh yeah.
to some even vegetables, and that can kind of nip the advantage that you were getting from being mostly plant-based. And so you can run like an ELISA test for that, which are pretty accurate. There's ways to evaluate it, you know. People will even use the simple elimination diet.
Oh yeah, right.
But
yeah.
depending if you
Yeah.
have other foods that you've been eating that are triggers or cross reactors with that particular food, so you eat those and you still get a reaction
Yeah.
to maybe not as severe as the apple, right?
Yeah.
But you still get a reaction. So you're pinging the immune system so that you can't completely remove that problem with the apple by not eating it for months, 6 months, or a year,
I would
because
love,
you're still
I would
consuming
love
the
to,
other food.
I would love to start eating apples.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I have to just try it and see what
well, I was
happens.
allergic to raspberries when I was younger.
Really?
I would get a rash and stuff. And I went to Boston one time to a Committee of 200 meeting, and it was Raspberry Month or something. They had a raspberry in every single thing. If you had champagne, it had a raspberry in it. Thank God Marilyn Miglin was there, and she had some nice cream that I could use. But they say that, and I was never allergic to strawberries, but I was allergic to fresh blueberries, but not baked blueberries.
Wow.
Now I
Yeah.
have no allergies to any of
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
It just disappeared.
Yeah, yeah.
But they say that the seed that's in the strawberry is different than the seed that's in the raspberry or something. So, you know, you just never
Yeah.
know.
Well,
what's
and some
gonna
people
affect
have
you.
problems with cooked food, and or a raw food, but not the opposite.
Not the
Yeah,
opposite.
yeah.
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 Did you ever
That's-
have any allergies?
Oh yeah, you don't even want to get you don't want me to get started. I had so many. I feel better now than I did when I was 21.
Really?
Oh
Did you inherit them?
no, I think they were created. I not severe, so I had sort of a much more of a, not like anaphylactic reactions,
Right.
but very, very subtle, which is kind of what led me into the whole nutritional, you know, where it was wearing down. I had gut problems, but very subtle, but to the point where it was severely affecting my energy levels.
Well, I can tell there's certain foods that I eat make me stiff. You know,
Sure.
I mean, you can tell almost. It doesn't mean that I've ever stopped eating them totally,
Right.
but you can tell that
Sure.
there is an inflammation and a difference in you.
Yeah.
So when you do this for people, is there, I know you have some technology in your office. Is that for the
Right.
diet based, or is that for the neurotransmitters, or is that both?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, it's a screening mechanism, basically, because we will order labs if we need them of varying types. That particular technology is kind of like a glorified biofeedback mechanism, and what it does is it allows to kind of point me in the right direction. And neurotransmitters are notoriously slippery to get a hold of in terms of the testing from a standard lab testing standpoint, and so that helps me along with evaluative forms. You know, this is the way I feel when X, Y, Z is going on. You know, and that helps you kind of drill down on the neurotransmitters.
Now, Medicare and insurance pay for this?
No,
Not at all.
no.
They pay for naturopath, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll pay for naturopathic because that's a standard manual medicine. And mechanical stuff they absolutely cover. And now we have ordered tests that, you know, if someone is having problems with fatigue and so forth, and you know, something as simple as like if they have an anemia or something along those lines, then those are legitimate tests to order for that.
Now,
type of
if people
condition.
live a distance from you, because we're in 67 suburbs, you know, it could be
Yeah,
that they're
yeah,
far
yeah.
from you. There are certain things that you can do telephonically, right?
Yeah, yeah, I do phone consults globally. And a lot of the time, depending, you can go a lot off of symptoms, as most doctors do. But if you need additional lab work or something to really specifically draw down on a causative agent, then you can get those tests ordered. You know, the most important time is when you really, really need to see someone. A lot of the time, if there's something in question or it's a skin issue or something, you send me a picture, because the quality of the photos now is so remarkable.
Yeah.
You can usually tell.
Well, even x-rays now, they're doing, radiologists are looking at pictures of things on computers.
They're all
yeah.
remote.
Yeah.
You know, and that same thing. You have the radiology send the report. Unless someone I have to have them on the table and I have to feel what's going on. But that is not a large percentage at least of my practice at this point. You know, like if someone comes in, you know, they've got this pain or that pain and they've got a rotated hip, yeah, obviously I have to put hands on to correct that.
So where would people call to get you remote?
The office number is 888-266-9402.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to repeat that again
Yeah,
in a few
yeah.
minutes in case you didn't have a pencil or pen to go ahead. But, you know, it's amazing to me because before it was really something that was accepted. This show started 30 years ago. And I was doing things on traditional medicine because I come from traditional medicine,
Sure.
being a registered nurse. And there's a lot of things in it that were great. Some of the technology that I see now has messed up diagnosis as far as I'm concerned, because the doctors used to be able to tell you what you had,
Right.
looking like you're talking about. And now sometimes, you know, with all the machinery and everything, there's misdiagnosis in my
Sure.
opinion.
Yeah.
But you know, it's interesting to me because I've had acupuncture, I've had naturopath, I've had chiropractic, I've had all these different things even for the show.
Sure.
And many of these things have helped me much more. I've avoided
Yeah.
surgery
Yeah.
for many years of hurting
Yeah.
my knee and stuff like that. And your treatment I thought was fabulous. And you found a spot that in the side of my leg that straightened out my leg because my hip was rotated,
Rotated,
right?
yeah.
And it was shortening one
Yeah.
leg. And I could tell there was a problem because I would always lead with that leg or try to go down a step. And then the more you do this wrong,
Yeah.
the worse things get.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a pattern. It's just a habitual pattern. But that is overlooked. The IT band is particularly overlooked when it comes to both knee and low back.
When you
problems.
call it the IT band, what do you mean? by that?
Iliotibial tract. It is the
Okay.
longest tendon in your body. And it runs along the outside of your thigh, just down past your knee. And so it's like somebody took a triangle, turned it upside down, and then stretched the apex all the way down the side of your leg. That's kind of how it looks, especially when you see it on a cadaver. I mean, it really looks that way.
Wow.
But it is remarkably strong. And so it lends itself to knee stability and hip stability. And it can get, there can be a lot of work done, like for example with low back pain, but if you do not release that, yeah, I've seen many practitioners do a lot of good with low back pain, but then if they don't address that, in some cases, they may get 75% better, but you can't get that last.
And what about in sciatica? Is that a big
You,
factor
well,
in that?
you will absolutely look at that with sciatica, yeah. Because it's all related on some
Well,
level.
and I worry about posture not only for myself, but for a lot of people. And I mentioned to you, people who have pacemakers seem to be, you know, I don't know if they cut the muscle or what the deal is, and they're bending over.
Right,
and
right.
that stops you breathing correctly also when you're like this all the
Sure,
time.
yeah.
And I told him I carry a lot of tension in my neck, and he found out that was true.
Yeah, I would say.
We mostly, I think we all kind of have the tension in the neck
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
Right.
Different people tend to hold things in different places, but the neck
Well, I have
is
to say
certainly
it's a fabulous treatment, and if you have any pains or aches or pains, you should call him, see him, whatever. If you have one more thing, I'm going to ask you to do at the end of the show. I just have to mention something else. If you're looking for some entertainment, the Marriott Theater is bringing in something, and it's Murder for Two, And it's two pianists that are going to do a mystery thing and a musical, and they're going to be playing pianos, and they're going to be investigating a murder mystery, and it's going to start on July 3rd and end the end of August. So if you want to go, it's the Marriott Lincolnshire that you might want to see that at. So please write that down so you remember it. Now I'm going to go back to Dr. Lauren, and if there's one last thing you'd like people to know, I'm certain we're going to have you back. There's a lot of topics that I want to talk to you about. But is there one last thing you'd like them to know that I didn't ask you?
Don't give up.
Well, that's the
Keep
same.
looking.
That's her slogan.
keep looking. The solutions are out there. They are.
So, one of the slogans that stuck with me, actually, it's a Buddhist one, and it says, "Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional."
No, that's yeah. I would say that's.
And you know,
pretty-
people don't often realize that when you're taking drugs just to mask pain, which is what they do, they affect your lungs, they affect your liver, they affect all different kinds of things. You can have a lot of side effects and a lot of problems that come from those drugs. And now it's a big thing, of course, about people taking pain medicine and everything because of the overusage of it.
Yeah.
So any therapy that you can get, and like you say, it doesn't have to be long-term in a lot of cases. Some people it will take long-term. In other cases, it might take 1, 3, 5 visits or something.
Yeah. You'll see. I've seen cases where they have had a problem for decades, and it may not be the average. I've got this hip issue or this back pain problem, and it's been going on for indefinitely, and I don't even want to get on a flight because I know how bad it's going to be after that. And they'll come in and with a naturopathic approach. I mean, within one treatment. One.
Well, I mean, I definitely felt the difference.
Yeah.
I have to say, I mean, there was a big difference, and that was one treatment.
Yeah.
But we'll see how good I'll get after more. I want you to give your name, your address, and your phone number again.
Okay. Lauren Allison.
Spelled
Allison is the last name. Lauren is the first name, just one syllable. And I'm a licensed doctor of naturopathy in Illinois. The office address is 2718 Caton Farm Road in Joliet, Illinois.
And the phone?
And the phone is 888-266-9402.
And the website?
Masterthebody.com, all one word, no spaces, anything, masterthebody.com.
Okay, and your hours are varied?
They're varied. Right now, they're by appointment because I've been doing a lot of traveling and I do a lot of consulting, and now I'm doing quite a bit of writing. So,
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll get Paula when they call. Paula's your office
yeah, they will get
manager,
Paula.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just about out of time. We have 1 minute left, and I just want to say that, as I said, I really encourage you. I thank Maria Panessa for joining us, by the way. She's been a patient. She's overcome tremendous odds. And I want to thank you for joining us, and I hope you've learned something about naturopathy. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes.
Not naturopath,
Napra, yeah.
Okay, so thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. I'm Karon Gibson. Thank you for joining us. Now we'll just sit here for a minute and talk.